Alright everyone, it's time for something really funny. Of course, it is November 9th, and the left-wing response to Trump being elected comes in two forms in the last, 48 hours. The first form is that the Democrats managed to recapture some, state seats, some state-level political positions in blue states. Somehow this makes them, hyper-optimistic, despite the fact that most of the upcoming races in 2018 are going to be in red states. Somehow they're optimistic, though. I'm not sure why. They think that it's part of an anti-Trump wave. Somebody posted an image. Oh, it's rising up out of the Pacific. It'll keep going. Well, yeah, California's a blue state. Color me impressed. I'm very, very confused about how Democrats won in the state of California. Thought it was a red state and shit. New Jersey. Oh, I thought it was going to become a red state sometime soon. You know, get real. Get over yourselves and your own capabilities, because otherwise you end up getting crushed. And then you'll be all despondent, then you'll do more of this stuff. The other response, though, is that some of the social justice warriors got together to scream helplessly at the sky, literally speaking. Their idea of a form of protest was to get together for a minute and just wail and screech. Yeah, I think that there's a meme that covers this general topic. I can't remember what it was called. It has something to do with autism awareness, I believe. This as a form of protest is really funny. Because now you've got something that's distracting people. The whole anti-Trump wave stuff was like a brief shimmering moment of optimism for the left. For about 24 hours there. And they're like, oh, well, we can do it. We can go into the midterms. You know, having a little bit of a boost in morale arguably is a good thing regardless. It also can be a bad thing. As we saw in the 2016 election, a lot of Trump's fans are totally demoralized, but they're pissed off enough to at least have high turnout. That saved them. Otherwise, you know, if they hadn't, yeah, probably Hillary Clinton would be president right now. I hope you know that. Holt was on there, you know, I follow him. I like to keep tabs on a few people on the left, because then occasionally they write hit pieces and stuff. It gives me an easier time of basically rebuffing them. But he was on there. Oh, the Democrats win when we talk about issues. If we do, you know, stupid moral shit, then we don't win elections. Well, yeah, Jared, well, there you go. See, exactly. The GOP is good at this too, but the Democrats lately have more of this as a fixture within their behavior, which is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That is, you do something that's commendable, or something that generally would boost morale, or something that seems sane, sensible. It's a good strategy. It's almost immediately dwarfed out, drowned out by some stupid shit that's associated with the Democratic Party in some way, in some meaningful way. So now you have a bunch of college kids sitting out there in the open wailing at the sky, and it looks to the average person can you imagine being let's say a Rust Belt business Democrat, you know, union family. Morally speaking, you're not in line with social justice warriors. You're interested in union liberalism. You see this on YouTube or on TV or something. What kind of view does that give that person of the Democratic Party? A bunch of losers. A bunch of people who can't get over the election result and have no platform. Their idea is just an animalistic, very primitivistic sort of screech fest. To stand out there in the open and basically piss their pants as a form of protest. That's basically the view. And it's not a wrong view either. That's the truth of parts of the Democratic Party of today. Just don't you find it funny? Legacy media will come out, in the wake of the Tiki Torch bullshit. The legacy media tries to conflate that with all conservatives or all Republicans at large. So somehow you've got 40, 50 million people. They're all basically secretly Nazis. But then you've got a bunch of anarcho-socialists and social justice warrior, paused people sitting around doing their primitive screeching at the sky. And the legacy media, at the very least, if they cover it, they're going to be like, oh, well, we got to remember, some people, they take a little too far. This isn't the average Democrat. Don't worry, mom and pop, union family. Don't worry, your kids at college aren't going to act like this. And no, I'm sure that they'll have that blue-collar job. They're just getting technical education. They're going to have to cover for their asses, because otherwise the alt media will chew them up and spit them out by making sure. that all of those blue-collar sort of former Democrat families understand that this is a rising current within the Democratic Party. Now, the Democratic Party doesn't represent the left per se anyway. They're neoliberals. They're basically the same as the Bush neocons. Now, the same Bushes that come out, Bush's ethics chief came out earlier in regards to the Time Warner CNN deal. Bush's ethics chief came out to condemn Trump and say that it was an impeachable offense. Bush's ethics chief, what do we know about Bush and ethics? He didn't have any. So, I mean, his opinion means absolutely nothing. But it was like, the Bushes keep doing stupid shit long after they've left the presidency. Like, they should have just wandered off into the sunset to play cowboy with Dick Cheney some more. They should have gone off, they should have put on their body armor and walked around over in Iraq and sniffed oil like cocaine. That's what they should have done. It's what makes them happy. Instead, they jump into politics once again. People at some point, I think, will remember how shitty the Bushes were. At least the millennials, I'm sure, including the far-left millennials, not necessarily going to be friendly to Bush. And that's just propaganda at its finest. Meanwhile, the left is bowing before corporatism, saying Trump's not starting a war, oh no, he's a Russian agent, basically, while also condemning him for, being willing to stand up to North Korea, a state that's actually threatened to deploy nuclear weapons against us. We can't do anything about that. We should dickwag after the Russians that are basically just sitting there. And meanwhile, the lay people of the left, the younger, more far-left individuals anyway, the social justice warrior end is sitting there doing, you remember, right after the election, I think it was the day after, you remember that one living meme woman there who was like crouched there? She's like, no, no, and she's crying, fucked out. Basically, they had a replication of that event as of last night. Yeah. Wonderful times that we live in. It couldn't get better. It couldn't get funnier. The jokes write themselves. It's like when all these comedy shows, which are all whacked out, they're no longer funny. They have like their Trump impersonators on every night. But there's like, you're picking up one coin and ignoring the whole dragon's hoard. There are so many jokes that practically write themselves about people like, why don't you go after Chris Christie? I haven't heard a good Chris Christie donut joke in a long time. And what about the social justice warriors? Look, they're sitting out there in the middle of the street screeching at the sky and pretending that it's going to save the world or something. Or that the world is ending, and so they're like unleashing their primitive ape-like anger. Which is basically what they're doing. They're like, it's like regression therapy or some bullshit. It's crazy. It's like some fad mesmerism shit that you'd get back in the 1970s. These people, I don't think that they're living with a full deck. I don't think they have all their marbles. I think some of them are lunatics. In the most literal sense, I think some of them have severe illnesses and probably should be in a psych ward. If they actually think that. And then you have these groups of like so-called witches, which are really the fluff bunny side of the Wiccans. Like the, hey, I read a part of a Book of Shadows once, I'm a witch now. Keep trying to hex Trump. It's not working. He hasn't gone anywhere. There were a lot of people early on, like right after he was elected. During the primaries, they swore up and down he wouldn't be the nominee. Now, I had people saying, no, it'll be Cruz. Jeb out of nowhere, the establishment will rig it. Ben Carson's been chosen by Jesus. Marco Rubio because, Coke, money sales or something. Then he gets to be the candidate, and they say they swore up and down that he couldn't beat Hillary Clinton. Because the establishment will rig it, or, because Trump is he's just there to say stupid shit, make Hillary look good. Then he wins. And then there have been so many people that said he won't last a year. Well, here we are. He lasted a year. Are you happy yet? Are you still going to predict that he's out of office before he finishes his term? No. Unless he has a massive stroke or something like that, yeah, he's going to finish out his first term at least. Whether he gets a second term, that's still up in the air. In full admission, we have to wait until after the midterms to know how the political situation continues to evolve. But he's gonna serve out his first term. He's not gonna get impeached. The Mueller investigation isn't gonna do jack shit. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out at some point and say, "Oh, Eric Holder's next. We're subpoenaing Eric Holder because he was involved with the Manafort stuff." I wouldn't be surprised. Donna Brazile has to come in here. Or that other chick that was like a 3-day interim DNC, Tom Perez. Oh, John Podesta's gonna have to come in here. Chris Christie, he was embezzling money with Paul Manafort in order to fund his fucking eating habits. That could happen. I wouldn't be surprised. That's about all. Peace out.